Hi guys, welcome to my latest instalment of Mark's Real Estate Tips, and in fact today's video is more of an explanation than a tip, and it's regarding underquoting. The reason why I want to speak to you about this today is because over the last few weeks I've spoken to numerous clients about selling their properties for them, and it amazes me how many people are unaware of what underquoting actually is and what the laws are surrounding that in today's market. So I wanted to discuss that with you today. So let's get straight into it. It started really a couple of years ago when the market was just kicking on and it was really strong. And what some unscrupulous agents were doing back then was they'd list a house that was worth, for argument's sake, $800,000, and they'd put it on the market at offers above $650,000. So what was happening was buyers were doing their searches online and they were looking at all these properties that were coming up in that $650,000 price bracket, and you had this whole group of properties that were priced similarly, and then this one property which was in amongst all these other properties that was leaps and bounds ahead of these, but the same price bracket. So buyers were thinking, wow, look at that, that one looks great. I'm going to try and buy that because I can afford it. In their mind, they could. So they'd turn up at the open house. You'd have 20 or 30 groups of buyers. And of course, these buyers are turning up with budgets of $620, $650, $680, whatever, thinking they're in with a shout. And of course, they had no chance at all because the property is worth $800,000. And all that was happening was these buyers were then feeling like they'd been mistreated, they'd been misled. They're going to the Office of Fair Trading and complaining, saying, look, this isn't fair. The agent's telling us it's worth $650,000 when it's actually worth $800,000. We're wasting our time. So in order to stop this, the Office of Fair Trading did two things. The first thing they did, they said was, right, that's it. From now on, agents are going to be made to be held accountable. So from our point of view as agents now, when I go and speak to a potential vendor about selling their property, I have to provide a minimum of 3 comparable sales. So if I come to you and say, right, your house is worth between $780,000 and $820,000, then I cannot then put it on the market at $650,000 to $680,000 because it's underquoting. So that's the first part of it. The second part is how we now promote the property to the marketplace. The days where you could use offers above or suit buyers from or offers over or something along them kind of lines are now gone. If you see a property on the market today with that kind of marketing, it's illegal. And if the Office of Fair Trading find out, it's an on-the-spot $20,000 fine to the agent. You have 3 options today in how you can actually present your property to the market. So the first thing you can do is not put a price on it at all. Now, John McGrath, who is the owner of the company I work for, McGrath Estate Agents, also sits on the board of realestate.com.au, who are the biggest generic real estate website in Australia. They have something like 300,000 people per day use their website. So we get a lot of insight into what goes on behind the scenes in that website. And what we've discovered is people who don't disclose a price. So you've seen these properties that go onto the market using wording such as property launch, new to market, speed sale, expressions of interest, all this kind of garbage. What we've found from realestate.com.au is that properties that go on the market with this vague wording, 94% of people who use that website will overlook a property with that kind of marketing. 94%. So if you go on the market with no price, you're basically targeting 6% of the market. Why would you do it? It doesn't make any sense at all. So you can do that, but it doesn't make any sense. Apart from the fact, if a buyer does ring up and ask how much the vendor wants, we then have to disclose a price anyway. So it really defeats the object. The other 2 options you have do include a price. So the first option is to go back to old school, which is just have a set price guide, and that's it. That's good from a buyer's point of view because they know exactly where you stand as a vendor and what you want. The only issue with that is that it's very rare you actually hit that price, and even rarer you get above it. What normally happens is you'll be up here at a set price, the buyer will come in with a low ball offer, you'll then come back with a counter offer, they'll come up slightly, you'll then come down a bit more, and they'll come up a bit more, and you end up meeting way below what you really wanted. The third option you have, and it's the closest thing we've got these days to the old offers above scenario, is to have a range. And the range cannot be any more than 10%. So if I tell you your house is worth between 780 and 820 for argument's sake, I can then not put it on the market between 650 and 7. But what I can do is put it on the market between 780 and 820, or between 8 and 850, or between 9 and 990. I can do any price I want above the range, I just can't go below. But what we've found over doing this over the last year or so is that the higher the price bracket, you don't need to use a full 10% range. If you've got a villa that's worth, say, 450, you can go on the market between 420 and 460, use the full 40,000, that's fine. But if you've got a house that's worth $900,000, don't go 9 to 990, because the range is almost $100,000. It's too big. Buyers need to know where they stand. So with that respect, you'd go between 9 and 930, 9 and 940, something like that roughly. Use a range, but condense it a bit, because it makes it easier for buyers to know roughly where you're thinking. Don't be fooled though into thinking that you can't sell above the range. If you have enough competition, you can. The Office of Fair Trading cannot tell you what you sell for. They can only tell you how to market it. And it's all about being transparent. That's fine, that's not a problem at all. But a lot of people I've been speaking to about this don't understand what underquoting is. This is law today in New South Wales, and we have to abide by it. So just be prepared. If you're thinking of selling your house, before the agent comes out, be aware of this. Go through your figures and work out what you want to do. If you're a buyer, also be aware of it. If you see a house that hasn't got a price, don't overlook it, because it might suit your needs. Ring the agent or email the agent and ask them for a price guide. They have to be transparent. But it's law today. As I said, people I've spoken to are not fully aware that this even exists. It's a real thing now, and it has to be adhered to. So today's video was really more to bring this to your attention, more than rather a real estate tip. Guys, do me a favour, these videos I'm doing are purely and simply to give you information, and I do appreciate your feedback. Let me know what you think. Let me know if it's of any interest to you at all. Let me know if there's anything I'm not covering that you would like me to mention. I'll try and take on board all the feedback I get and give you back what you guys want. This is for you, not for me. I know all this stuff. I'm trying to help you guys. So give me your feedback. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to the next video.